Hello and welcome to Talking Business with Beverly. I am your host and business strategist, and we want to thank you for joining us as we support you, the entrepreneur, in creating the time and financial freedom in your business. And so we do this by not only addressing your business needs, but also your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial needs as well. And now join me in welcoming Nikki Boyd to the show. Hello, Nikki. How are you?
Hi, great.
And so Nikki is actually a purpose coach. So of course, as entrepreneurs, really and truly making sure that we're walking in our purpose. And so Nikki has joined us just to talk to us about her entrepreneurial journey and kind of, where she started and how she ended up doing what she does. And so Nikki, before we actually get started, I love to play this game with my guests where I ask them 3 random questions. So Nikki, are you game to play the game?
I am game to play the game.
Awesome. Okay, Nikki, what is your favorite book to read?
My favorite book to read, the Bible.
I did. Thank you, Pastor. Yes. I was going to say something that it wasn't. I'm like, wait a minute. And what's your favorite vacation spot?
Oh, my favorite vacation spot has been Cancun.
Oh, I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. The water is.
Love it, love it. And so are you a night person or a morning person?
I am absolutely a night person. I am not a morning person. I actually don't wake up until about 11:30ish. Like I can get up early, 8 o'clock, but like I'm not feeling myself until about 11.
Nothing wrong. 11 o'clock sounds about right to me. That sounds about right. That's when your brain starts functioning.
Right.
So Nikki, we're going to certainly dive into this conversation. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a very interesting conversation because, I introduced you as Nikki, Boyd, but she's actually Pastor Nikki. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about this whole, marrying ministry and the marketplace because there's some controversy about, being a Christian and making money and all this good stuff. So we're going to dive into all of that.
Okay.
So, Nikki, kind of tell our viewers what it is that you do.
So I am a full-time pastor of Harvest Springs Ministries in McDonough, Georgia. So it's my assignment to teach, educate, and lead the flock. Outside of that, I do have my purpose coaching business, which I work with. I actually have a few clients that are leaders in the ministry. One of the things I kind of struggle with that because I was like, I don't want to mix the two, but they were like, well, Pastor, it's not fair that people on the outside can get the assistance they need on a one-on-one basis, but we can't. So we just had to write up something for them to sign saying, okay, at this moment, I'm not your pastor, I'm your purpose coach.
And that's actually awesome that you kind of talked about that, the fact that, hey, if I am, a believer, where do I go if I want to work with another believer? So why wouldn't we have that?
Right.
So, kind of tell us, how did you even get started when it came to being a purpose? Because how did you kind of transition and say, you know what, this is actually part of my purpose as well? How did that come about?
It was just the overwhelming responses of counseling sessions. And all of the sessions are not geared to sin or failures, but some of them are, I have a lot on my plate and I don't know how to delegate them or how to place them. Can you help me? And I had an aha moment myself. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and start this destiny and purpose coaching practice to help people.
Awesome. And so once again, kind of realizing and, that a lot of my guests talk about the same things. It's really a part of something they had already been doing.
Right.
And then it was like you said, that little light bulb, like, oh, wait a minute, there might be something to this.
Right.
So let me kind of see. And so I know you, as a purpose coach, it's all about helping people kind of walk in their gifts. But, tell our viewers, because it's not all peaches and cream when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So what were some of those challenges that you faced when you first got started?
I had to take my money to brand my business without even having any clients. So I didn't have any clients to start with. So I had to pour into that which I was developing. So even after that, the branding piece of it, I had to do a lot of branding before anyone ever even acknowledged that I had a coaching business. And so it takes you, how well do you believe in yourself? If you're not branding yourself, and when you start talking about it, people are going to wonder, well, how come we never saw anything about your coaching business? And so that was one of the challenges, like pulling income from other places in order to fulfill and brand my business.
And I love that you mentioned that, because a lot of times people, when they get their business started, well, I'm just getting started, so I don't have any money. Wait a minute. You have to figure it out and figure out ways. Because I always use that analogy, you know, like a restaurant. Right. Before they ever open their doors, they're investing so much money beforehand, before they even serve the first customer.
That's right.
So it's the same thing. So we have to start thinking like an actual entrepreneur when it comes to being in our business. So for you, you know, so you talked about that challenge as far as like the financial piece. So what did you do? What did you do? You know, give that suggestion to that person that's watching, like, okay, well, Nikki, what do I do? You know, to kind of figure out ways to fund my dream.
Say for instance, if you do have a full-time job, you can delegate a certain amount that you'll take if you're getting paid weekly or bi-weekly, to say, I'm going to put this much aside for my business. And although you may say, well, you know what, August 2019, I'm going to start my business. Well, guess what? If you've put a certain amount to aside, and you see that I don't have what I need to get started, it's okay. Postpone it. And you know, you don't want to start, you know, something that you can't finish. So you definitely want to count up the costs, and you definitely want to make sure that you have what you need in order to brand yourself.
I love that. And, you know, kind of reassuring some people, because especially if you online, you see everybody with these big yachts and private planes and all. It doesn't start off like that.
No, and it doesn't.
Just like you said, if you have a job, use that. And we'll talk about, you know, how you can use that,
Absolutely.
you know, and keep you focused on that to kind of fund your business.
Right.
And so we will definitely talk more about that right after these messages. Hello and welcome back to Talking Business with Beverly. I am your host and business strategist, Beverly Walthour. And so we've just been having a conversation with Nikki Boyd. She's a purpose coach. And so she's just been speaking with us about her journey in entrepreneurship and just kind of giving us some tips to just ensure that we are, first of all, walking in our purpose, but also ensuring that we're doing it in a way where we can have a sustainable business.
Right.
And so actually right before the break, we were talking about the fact that, you know, if you have a full-time job, it's okay. And, you know, but what do you say to that person where, Nikki, this job is getting on my nerves. It's getting on my nerves. Like, what would you say to them to kind of keep them encouraged, especially if they're not ready to actually walk away from it yet?
You need to find a place of peace because you can get upset and walk away from your livelihood and then get frustrated saying that you did it because you're launching your business. But then you don't have the funds that you need to continue the business. So I would definitely say find a place of peace. If you have to take walks on your lunch break instead of going to eat, take walks to, you know, release some of that negative energy that you're feeling so that you can go back, regroup, and continue working so that you can continue to have the funds to fulfill your assignment.
I love that. I love that. Just kind of getting recentered and remembering actually your why and why you even want to do the business.
Right, absolutely.
And look at, hey, they are the investors. You know, look at it like that. Like, sure, yeah,
that's a good one.
Invest in my business.
That's a good one.
That certainly makes sense.
That's
you know, because we know, like, statistics, like within the first 3 to 5 years, a lot of businesses fail. So you just want to be due to lack of finances.
Right.
So you certainly want to make sure financially you're in that space to kind of do that. And so, okay, so we heard about some of Nikki's challenges, and so she kind of gave us some tips on what we can do financially to kind of fund that business. And so, you know, what were some of the mindset shifts you had to make to kind of go into, you know, really and truly being an entrepreneur and thinking like a CEO? What were some of those mindset shifts you had to make?
That I can't coach people for free. You know, because I had to balance it out, because it's like, as a pastor, I have counseling sessions where I don't charge for counseling sessions. And so this isn't a counseling session, this is a purpose coaching session, which is different. And so I had to shift my mind to say, this isn't for free, this is your practice, this is your business, and to be okay with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's I think a lot of people, that's a struggle, especially, you know, for Christians. They're like, oh my God, you know, it's my gift and God gave this to me, and how can I charge for that? But I'm like, how do you maintain your household if you're not bringing money into your household?
Right. Absolutely.
Gotcha. So that does make a lot of sense. So for you, you know, she just makes that distinction. You know, when she's in ministry, it looks a certain way, but then when you're operating in the marketplace,
Right.
it looks different. So that way you kind of draw the line.
Right.
So the same thing for those that are struggling with that.
That's right.
So that makes sense. And so, you know, so you've drawn that line. You're like, okay, this is what I'm doing in ministry. This is what it looks like over here. You know, for those people that are, you know, Christians, and they're like, well, I don't serve, you know, other believers in my business. Like, how do they kind of bring their faith into it, even if their people are not Christians? Like, what are some things they can do to kind of maintain their faith?
I think it's very important that you serve people outside of your faith, because that's what we were taught to do. We are to reach others that are not like us. And so I think it's very important that you learn to blend.
Yes.
Blending is very good. You learn different things about different people. And so you may even pick up something that you can use for your business. So I think it's very important that you let your guard down and change some of the traditional way of thinking about business, about partnership. Because I may be a Christian and you may be a Muslim, but guess what? We may work very well together in business. And so, you know, you never know. Oh, you may meet someone that's a non-believer that says, you know, I go to church, I'm cool with it, but I don't want to. Okay, that's cool, but they may be the person that will tell everybody about Beverly.
Yes.
You need to get with her. You need to work with her. And it has nothing to do with your religion. So I think blending, partnering with people outside of your culture would definitely expand your business.
I love that. And so for you, what kind of prepared you for this entrepreneurial journey? Because we know it's not for the faint of heart. So what, like, in your background, kind of prepared you for this journey?
Well, I'll be really discreet, but you can go to my website later. I'll give that information and purchase my book. But I have had entrepreneurship experiences outside of knowing who my faith was in. My previous background, I lived a fast lifestyle. I pretty it up that way.
Pastor said, look, I wasn't always a pastor.
No, I wasn't. So I lived a fast lifestyle. I traveled a lot. I trafficked a lot, and so I have numbers down pat.
Okay.
I have customer service skills down pat. You know, so I had those people skills. So having people skills, knowing how to build, all those different things that I did when I didn't know who Christ was, I just changed it and allowed, the God side of me to change the part that was not so great, to use it to draw others, because there's something on my life to draw people. But now I need to point them in the right direction.
Exactly. I love that. And kind of just using all of that, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
put
to
it
now
together.
pour it into your business.
There you go. And it works together.
I love it.
well.
I love it. And so, Nikki, we are going to continue this conversation right after these messages. Hello and welcome back to Talking Business with Beverly. I am your host and business strategist, Beverly Walthour. And so we were having an amazing conversation with Nikki Boyd. Nikki is a purpose coach. So she was just speaking with us about her journey and kind of how she used every area of her life to kind of, use that to build her business. And so Nikki, share with us, what are some of the misconceptions that people have when it comes to entrepreneurship?
I think the main misconception people have is thinking I'm going to start my business today and next month I'm going to be rolling in the big bucks. They just really think that it's going to happen, or they can have someone that they mirror their business from and say, okay, well, Beverly is a coach, so I should be making the money that she's making in 30 days. when Beverly has put in the time. She's been doing it longer. She has a lot of different strategies. So the main misconception is looking at someone else's business and thinking you should be where they are in a short amount of time. And it's just going to take time. Everyone has a different scale or schedule that they're supposed to be on. Doesn't mean that you're not doing well. It's just that's your lane, and you just gotta ride it until it's time for you to get your exit.
I love that, and it can certainly be hard to not compare. A lot of people kind of compare, like, but wait a minute, she's doing this, and I should be. But wait a minute, she may have been doing this for the past 3 years, and you've just been doing it for 3 months, so it's going to look completely different.
Absolutely,
it's going to look completely different. So for you, how do you kind of use social media? Because that's huge, of course. It doesn't matter if you have an online business or a brick and mortar. How has social media impacted your business?
Social media has been an awesome friend of mine. I hear a lot of people say a lot of times, I don't get on social media. It's too much drama. I get on there, I do what I need to do, and I get off. I've promoted a lot of events. I've promoted a lot of specials, different events that I have for the church as well as my coaching business. And it has all been effective. I've met a friend that I went to high school with over 30 years ago. And see, I'm telling my age.
Hey, you're only 35. You're only 35. That's all.
It's a good life. So listen, we met, and she's like, "Are you here in Atlanta?" I'm here. But guess what? If I wasn't on social media, we would have never reconnected. And so it's what you make it.
And I think that's key, especially, just being a business and, knowing that I can literally do business with someone across the globe because of social media.
And for free.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
it's for free. Use it while it's free, because after a while they may start charging.
Right, there you go.
Know.
But I love what you said. You set the intention.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on there and use it for this
That's
purpose.
Right. That's
and
right.
Versus all the other stuff.
That's right.
So pretty much it's what you make it.
It's what you make it.
I love that. And so how do you use it to kind of build relationships? Like, how do you actually use social media to build? Because we know as entrepreneurs, it's huge to build relationships. So how do you do that?
I have a personal page, and then I have 2 business pages. With my personal page, I'm very personal. With family, with friends, I comment on their things. I respond. I love. On business, I keep it strictly business. And I'm encouraging them. I'm motivating them. I'm sending out different updates. So one page is more business related. The other page is more personal and friendly. And so I use it for whatever page I'm on. So if it's for business, I'm going to reach out to the business owners. I'm going to let them know what specials we have, what we're doing. If it's for personal, I'm going to say, hey guys, I'm coming to your area. What are we getting ready to do? Kind of like calling them out type of thing.
But that makes sense though, kind of using it and wielding it in a way where, you have that. And like we said before, with social media, it's such a powerful tool.
Yes.
Literally, you can grow any type of business that you want.
For free.
Exactly. Did she say again for free? Just in case you didn't hear the first time.
Like, you have no reason not to promote your business.
That's true. And it's just a matter of being able to kind of promote it effectively in a way where, like you said, you're still building the relationships. You're letting them know what's going on with you.
Absolutely.
And so then that way, I love that. I love it. And so, for you, what do you feel has been, the most powerful piece to you being an entrepreneur? Like, what do you love the most about being an entrepreneur?
I've been able to connect and reach out to other people in my field that I would have never met if I wasn't a purpose coach. And so I think that that's been amazing. And they have had different conferences and different events that they've invited other coaches to. And so to me, that has been very influential, encouraging to get around others and let their brains sharpen my brains. I love being in a room with people that are far beyond me. I think that if you're in a room and you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to run fast.
Yes.
But I like being around people that stretch my thinking. And so I would say that's one of the greatest tools as an entrepreneur, that I have had the impact to be around others that's further than myself. And it doesn't make me feel less than. It doesn't make me feel discouraged. It just gives me that hope for.
Exactly. And so, Nikki, we are actually out of time. So I love hearing your story. So, share with your viewers, how can they find out more information about you? What's your social media and website?
Please follow me on Instagram at Pastor Nikki. You can also follow me on Twitter at Pastor Nikki and Facebook at Nikki Kennedy Boyd. Also, my website is PastorNikkiMinistries.com.
Awesome. And once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to all the viewers.
Thank you. And then we also want to join you. Thank you as well for joining us. And just remember, as entrepreneurs, make sure that you not only address your business needs, but also your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial needs as well. Until next time, thank you.